There are some texts that are loud and clear in resonance. There are some sounds that echo from the distant past. In the specifically monastic life, when one chants in an ancient, and I mean an ancient, building of prayer, it's as though one disappears into the mists of time. One is chanting melodies not composed by the present generation, but inspired by the Holy Ghost and transmitted by those who went before us. And the walls of the ancient church can recognize their own. The beginning of Lent has something of that. Remember, O man, that you are dust, and to dust you will return. Some years ago, when I was helping in the monastery near our own, I used to hear confessions and give their retreats. They had to, by order of public authorities, do some excavation work before doing some restoration on the cloister area. And so experts came in and they started digging into history. And what was their surprise when they found actually before them history was standing there. It was in the form of first 1, then 2, then 3 complete skeletons. And so they proceeded and realized that they'd hit something. For skeletons to end up in that position, one on top of the other, way back in the Middle Ages, probably meant that there was a reason for it, and it could well have been the reason of the time, the bubonic plague. In Lent, at our abbey, for part of Lent we would sing an ancient chant, Media vita in morte sumus. In the middle of life, we are in death. And that was accompanied by 3 great prostrations, that is, inclinations ad majestatem of the head. Sanctus Deus, Sanctus Fortis, and on it would go, in which the creature, from the depth of the hurting Middle Ages, would cry out to the thrice holy, realizing its limitedness. In the middle of life, we are in death. We think we are further on in civilization than they. Maybe for the first time, the whole planet has realized actually its limits. With regard to the pandemic, we're all in this together. And something of that great cry in the middle of death, or rather of life, we are in death, is coming again from the soul of man, all over the planet, as in high frequency souls leave their bodies. In the Europe of the time, tendentially, the souls would leave their bodies with an element of preparation in that Christian faith universally proclaimed in Europe. And so they knew where they were going, and in their short innings they might well have done better than we in conquering eternity with the tools that they had. Those tools are still the same body and the soul, time and thought, contact with our King through prayer and the sacraments, the latter actually being made difficult of access right now. But this day, the beginning of this holy season, is a time for us to remember dust. When one assists at a funeral, one is just before either actually nowadays what is going to be ashes anyway through cremation, or classically through what is going to be ashes through the passage of time. And it is still said, as the dust covers the coffin, dust unto dust, ashes unto ashes, and that is our bottom line. Death is the great equalizer. And indeed, from the Middle Ages, something of that has carried on in artwork and sculpture. Those famous macabre dances, where one sees mitred heads, crowned heads, skeletons underneath, dancing with paupers. Death brings us all to that one point of reality. The great judge is not a respecter of persons. And we think we can actually deal him out of his rights of supreme judge by giving a wonderful beatification homily and eulogy. Actually, the person may well be roasting nicely and pleading, "Be quiet, all I need now is prayer." Padre Pio himself, before dying, pleaded that they would not call him a saint, because he knew that they would not pray for him. And he himself, I am told, had a tiny moment in purgatory. Interesting. What hope have we? And yet, we sanctify and bless and glorify and beatify and canonize each other in the pulpit, as though the rights of God had just been cancelled. And even applause now echo in our churches, forgetting that actually that is displeasing to the one who's there. Way back then, when I was in Italy, I was struck by this stark reminder as I saw these skeletons appearing in the ground from the Middle Ages. Without a word, they spoke loud and clear, and I wrote down what I thought they were telling me, lest we forget. Heaped skeletons from the bubonic plague. And when, upon an aeon, we lie still next to our skeleton friends, who grin for air into the unhurried void, when will and will strive no more neath the troubled breast, there where the cosmos lay in poise, when noise no more from lips forever silent comes forth hence, to change the course of skulls, as once before it oft unbid could do. When naught comes thence, what then will these strange sockets ever see? Hind long horizons that full eyes see not. And then, my friend, what endless end shall we make of our small beginning, when forgot are tingles that were ours. What ours? Shall linger on forever and a day. Questo giorno è pieno di echi perché si ricanta tante melodie ricevute dal lontano passato umano, alcune composte in situazioni di grande difficoltà, come adesso noi conosciamo, la peste bubonica, media vita, in morte sumus. Questa polvere ci fa ricordare la limitezza dell'uomo e del tempo. Una frazione, un punto sulla mappamundi del tempo e dell'eternità e della nostra esistenza, e in questo piccolo punto si gioca l'eternità. A Sant'Antimo era una casa medievale in cui l'eco era anche fisico, perché l'acustica era bellissima e si sentiva tutta la forza del canto medievale. E anche nella vecchia cappella carolingia si sentiva tanto tempo che passava ancora. L'altare era lo stesso. Il monastero fu già presente sulla mappamundi del tempo nel 781, la carolingia cappella era ancora lì, usata da noi in privato per le messe basse. E mi sono detto, questa è la verità umana. Uno riceve un edificio, un canto, un modello di vita. Le campane stesse cantavano il tempo. Per noi era scritto proprio su una campana che l'abate Ugo le aveva create per l'alfa e l'omega nell'anno 1218 e suonavano ancora, ritmando il tempo. I binari della vita monastica e del tempo ritmato è una sicurezza contro l'eternità, perché usando bene il tempo di obbligo uno evita di sprecare il dono dell'eternità anche. Tanti non lo fanno. La pandemia potrebbe essere un'occasione di ripensare a questo. Mi ricordo anche una volta, pregando tranquillamente, non soltanto alla nostra abbazia, ma all'abbazia accanto, Abbadia San Salvatore, dove spesso andavo per confessare e anche fare ritiri per loro. Un giorno si è scoperto un segreto della storia proprio. Scavando per fare i lavori sul chiostro hanno trovato tante scheletri sottoterra e gli esperti dicevano che per avere un mucchio così di scheletri voleva dire che c'era una ragione storica tipo pesta per chiedere una sepoltura collettiva urgente. E mi sono detto, queste ossa parlano, questi scheletri hanno una lezione per noi. Ricordati, uomo, che sei polvere e che alla polvere tornerai.
Purificami, o Signora, sarò di me,